You know, and the Erie Canal is kind of like one little cog in that wheel, you know, because it's that mind, you know, it's a way of life and it's a thinking, you know, the frontier mentality. We can do anything we want, destroy as much as we want, and there's always going to be another place to go. Well, we're to the end of that, 2021. And I always say this to all the non-native people, you know, means extinction for us. For other people, they can go back to wherever they came from, and their gene pool will live on, but not ours. Because if they destroy the Seneca, then here, then that's it.
And then the Kinzua did the same thing. It flooded our land and it destroyed people's homes, and they had to be relocated. And another part about that is when our nation fought that to happen, or fighting that, they had another architect group that gave an alternative proposal, and it would have saved our land, left our agreements intact. It would have they wouldn't have had to violate their word, but that dam could have been done in another area. It's called Conewango, and that is still sitting there. Those people that were living there are still living there, just as happy as ever. But our people lost their homes. Caleb Abrams did one. He's a powerful. He's the kind of young people that I want to encourage to keep going. And he did one of these documentaries about that, and it shows some of the films and footage that he was able to get when they removed some of our elder Seneca people, grandma and grandpa. The United States Marshals led them out of their house, and when they were walking away, you could see their house being torched and burned. That should not be happening. That is just so disgusting. Why, you know, there were alternatives.
Upstream in my reservation, we have a nuclear waste plant that, for the last 50 years, has been dumping radioactive nuclides into the Cattaraugus Creek. And it's been every day, you know, we're being slowly eradicated with nuclear poisoning. Cancer rates are high. You know, we have a lot of very, very sick people in our community. We're working, that's one of our campaigns here at iwi, is a nuclear-free future. We're working right now for a full cleanup. They're demolishing one building and New York State, NYSERDA, and Department of Energy are demolishing one of the main processing buildings that has some of the worst transuranic nuclear waste. And this building, it's all in the walls, it's all over, and in other places they've put covers over it to contain it, because it's just going to float up in the air, and everybody in Western New York is going to be breathing that. More of it's going to, when it rains, it's going to be washed into the water, and it's going to come down the creek. It's just all going to be a big mess, a bigger mess than what's already there. That waste site was only open for, I think, about 7 years, but during that time it was one of the only waste sites open, and they did bring the worst of the worst nuclear waste there, and it still sits there. So there is a huge concern about containment and about about responsibility and about accountability by the state, New York State, and accountability by the federal government to clean up the mess they made at West Valley. And the reports that they give are not full disclosure to the public, and which is the case with most nuclear sites, because they the worst situations that have been exposed has always been done by citizen groups. The people that are doing it usually will not admit. You know, it's like a baby that soils their diaper and hides in the corner. You know, this is what they're doing because they've made this big mess, and they just want to keep it under wraps all the time, and then they don't, because it's going to cost money. They rather spend money on making more nuclear waste, weapons, you know, killing more people. And you look at the federal budget today, they're in Congress as we speak. There's a bill sitting there to put more money into nuclear, which is really a mistake because we haven't even taken care of the waste that have been generated to date. So this is part of the insanity